Greetings and good vibes, everybody. Welcome back to the Leon Block. I'm your guy, Jontel, joined by our co-host, Meg.
Hey, good evening, everybody.
Yo, it's another day, another night, another situation. You know how it already goes. We news because it's been a minute since we've really jumped on some stuff. And I think it's important. I haven't done Newslink, a Revolution Newslink in quite some time. We will be getting back to the groove of that soon as well. Maybe I'll have a new host to that show. Who knows? We shall see. However, I do want to go to some clips of some stuff I found. Not that one. Is it this one? Yes.
Across the Atlantic Ocean. We're not moving for all the warriors of our time. There's no day for Taki, there's no day for Nani. All of these people who died because they stand up and struggle to get out of the class of British colonialism. We now sit and say, we must mourn. I am not one of them who's mourning, and I can talk for a lot of Rastafari, brethren and sisters. We don't sit at a mourning time.
Mutabaruka, I wanted to ask your response to Charles at the time, Prince Charles, just a few weeks ago, praising the contribution of Jamaicans to British life is immeasurable in a message commemorating Jamaica's 60 years of independence from the UK. Now you have Jamaica also talking, like Antigua and Barbuda, of a referendum on complete independence, on becoming a republic. What do you think the outcome of that will be, and what would reparations and an apology look like to you? Be adequate for you. By the way, it's an honor to speak with you again after so many years.
All right. What he's saying is what we expect him to say. You know, actions speak louder than words. And if he is here now to do certain things, he must understand how we feel as African people in this part of the world and what his family and ancestors did. So to address the situation, it's not just to say why he feel bad about what is happening. That is not apologizing, because he did that already. He came to the Caribbean and said, why I feel bad about what was happening. we need somebody saying, look here, we see what happened, and we was responsible for it, and we're sorry, I'm going to make amends. And the amends come with what we call it, what they call getting something going between the governments of the different countries then to facilitate reparation and repatriation. Because we're not taking that out for those who desire to go back to Africa, because we came to Jamaica not by free will, but by force. Nobody asked to come to the Caribbean. None of these Africans, at least my ancestors, never asked to come here. So the Rastafari community is crying out, say, reparation, repatriation, meaning that those who desire us of going back to Africa must be able to do this without the argument about Commonwealth of Nations, and that is really an ignorance. There's no moving away from the Queen and the monarchy. If the countries that claim getting rid of the monarch is one, but if you still in the Commonwealth of Nations, that still bind you and whip you to the same colonial system that you are trying to break free from. There's no getting rid of the Queen or getting rid of the King, and you're still into the Commonwealth. We as Jamaicans, there's a lot of grandfathers and who's living today who fought in the Royal Air Force during the World War II, and who went to England to help build up England. And what we hear now, first of all, Jamaicans have to have a visa to go to the so-called motherland.
Yep.
Jamaicans is not allowed to stay there at a certain length of time. And now we have a Windrush people who just recently, we see that they're trying to send back people who was in England for 60 years and have children at them house and everything. They're sending them back to Jamaica. That is one of the most racist things that I have ever seen in my lifetime. Where you go to build a country.
Mutawaruka, I'd like to bring in on this issue of reparations, Dobrino Marde also, if you could tell us in the letter that your commission submitted to the royal family, what were some of the demands and how do you see reparations?
Certainly. The letter that we wrote, well, it would have been our second letter addressed to British monarchs. Earlier, I think maybe about a year or two before, Prince Harry was here. And certainly this year or last year, I mean, I'm getting lost within this COVID mess. The other brother was also here, who is now, I guess, destined to be the next King of England. And our letter simply said to them that we were very tired and rather insulted by their approach of telling us things that we already knew. That we knew that slavery was horrible. They didn't have to tell us that. That we knew that genocide was committed. They didn't have to tell us that. And our letter simply said to them, please, do not come here and insult us further by saying things that the Tony Blairs have already said, that your Minister of Foreign Affairs had come and addressed the Parliament in Jamaica and looked at us as Caribbean people, as descendants of enslaved people, to tell us that we should forget it and just move on. That just let's forget this, move on. And that is essentially what we said in our letter. Now, in response to your the other part of your question, of what does reparations look like for us? What does this moment mean to us in the reparations struggle? I think certainly that we're asking Britain to reassess its role in the intentional on the development of Africa and this Caribbean. Asking Britain to reassess its role in the genocide, in the plunder, in the violence that it exerted on African people on the continent and here in the Caribbean. And that in reassessing this role, that it must understand clearly that the morality of the situation, the ethics of the situation calls for repair. And in that repair, we essentially are talking reparations, that you have committed crimes against humanity, and that there is a moral and an ethical demand that you acknowledge these crimes and you do your best in the best way you can to make whole the holes that you have really left in the history and in the lives of African people. I'm a member of the CARICOM Reparations Commission as chairperson of the Antigua and Barbuda Reparations Commission, and that commission has issued a 10-point plan that defines for the international community, defines for us here in the Caribbean, how we see reparations. The plan that we have issued is a development plan. It's in contrast, let's say, to the legacy reparation plans that are being developed elsewhere in the diaspora, where individuals are identified as the recipient of reparations. The CARICOM reparations plan talks of development. In the first instance, it identifies those areas in our development across this region where the hurt of enslavement and genocide continues to exist and continues to impact on the lives of Caribbean people today. And we are saying that in that development plan that we are inviting is the word that I think we have to use at this point in time, Europe to sit at the table with us and to discuss this development plan addressing areas in education, in healthcare. And as Mutabarak has just said, we include in that this whole question of repatriation of those persons who want to go back to the continent. We're talking
we have 15 seconds.
Yeah, we're talking psychological. We're talking debt. We're talking debt relief. A number of issues within that 10-point plan.
So yeah, for any of us who have been not, I haven't been paying attention to the Queen or the death, I do think that we need to have a conversation, however, about reparations and the Queen and the Empire, the colonization, all of that stuff. Yeah, we will be right back.
You, I am, me, then and now. I am spirit, I am life. Followed by many, I follow none. I lead none, I walk together as one. One body, one life. One now, one mind. One being, one soul. One eye, one whole. I am spirit, I am life. I am one, and I am I.
Hey, so now I want to get into some news actually about, well, a lot of different things. First off, the Patagonia founder is giving away $3 billion to a company to fight the climate crisis. Billionaire founder of Patagonia has given the outdoor apparel company away to a specially designed trust and a nonprofit that will use all revenue to combat the climate crisis and protect the environment.
Can you tell me where that is, please? Because I'm
yeah, sure. Patagonia is in the southwestern part. The southernmost tip of South America. It's a whole region that is very so the climate in that tip of South America is reversed. It's kind of like the Australia of our hemisphere, so to speak. because it's a different climate than everything above it on the rest of the continent because of how south it sits. So it has different flora and fauna, and it's just a unique place. And it's been preserved by this billionaire. You know, the coats in the backpacks and stuff, Patagonia.
Uh-huh.
That's what it's. That's his company. And so I think he passed. I thought it was he passed and he left it to his wife or something like that. But yeah, like if you look it up, there's like documentaries and episodes like people that have interviewed her and him and stuff. It's pretty cool. Just to know that all of this land, it's like the size of a country.
Shit.
Yeah, is being preserved for the natural landscape and the animals, and just for the overall well-being of the planet as well, because it has so many trees. It's a rainforest in its own right, so to speak. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
That is
I
pretty
love
cool.
that. Yeah.
Hey, thank you for educating me, love.
Of course, you already know. A royal water advisory has been lifted for Jackson, Mississippi after nearly 7 weeks.
Yay.
Yeah, 40 days after the state. Thank you. Yeah, but we ain't out the water just yet. No pun intended. 40 days after the state's Department of Health reported the city's water supply was unsafe to drink. The problem was compounded in August when torrential rains caused the Pearl River to overtop its banks, flooding Jackson's main water treatment plant. Thursday, it was announced that the capital city is now safe to drink, although it's said that the system is still, quote unquote, imperfect. So the head of Mississippi's chapter of American Academy of Pediatrics warns Jackson area caregivers preparing baby formula should continue to use bottled water because infants remain at risk of heavy metals and other toxins in the water supply. Yeah, federal court rules Enbridge trespassed on indigenous land to build Line 5 pipeline. No shit.
I saw an article today that said that immigrants can cross the border to give plasma.
Wow.
I said, what the hell has this come to? This is crazy.
Yeah, but we'll ship them off to Martha's Vineyard instead. Like, I cannot.
Exactly.
Judge blocks proposed petrochemical plant in Louisiana's Cancer Alley. That's good. A court in Louisiana has revoked air permits for a massive petrochemical complex in a region of the state known as Cancer Alley. I don't know if you've heard of this, but when I went with PPF and all the other major organizations that do such amazing work nationwide in DC this past summer, there was a woman that was born and raised in Cancer Alley down in Louisiana, and she was talking about it, and it opened up my eyes because I did hear about it in different documentaries and such, but not in this way. The defeat of Formosa Plastics Corporation's proposed $9.4 billion plant is a major victory for local environmental justice groups, including the Louisiana Bucket Brigade and Rise St. James, who have spent years fighting the project. Yeah, what's up? Co-host Chaz. As you know, your name's on the graphics there, Bucko. There you go. Yep. Also, an unprecedented global crime house hearings probe oil companies' climate denial. You know, that's per usual. Yeah, Pakistan suffers surge of waterborne disease as flood waters recede, as we've already expected, and was as we expected when all these floods took place. No one wanted to help like that, and now as waterborne diseases are taking place, you know, all of these organizations that are supposed to cry about human rights abuses and war crimes and stuff, they say it, but do they ever enforce it?
Good question.
No. But then again, they don't have armies to combat China or Russia or the US, so all they can do is be like, you're being a bad country. But what the fuck is that really going to do, you know?
Exactly.
It's crazy. So Florida's governor sends asylum seekers to Martha's Vineyard. As I was just talking about, Florida Republican Governor Ron DeSantis has sent 2 planes with some 50 asylum seekers to Martha's Vineyard, an island off the coast of Massachusetts. I just want to cut that off real quick because there's another governor, I think it was from Texas, that sent people on buses, and people were going into having heart attacks, and babies were getting shipped to hospitals and all that kind of stuff, simply because they were being shipped from Texas to New York against their will. They were being told they were going one place and they were being shipped another. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Governor Ron DeSantis said, quote, if you have folks that are inclined to think Florida is a good place, our message to them is we are not a sanctuary state, and it's better to be able to go to a sanctuary jurisdiction. And yes, we will help facilitate that transport for you to be able to go to greener pastures.
What?
Wow. Right. Community members in Martha's Vineyard welcomed the asylum seekers with food, water, and other resources. Many had journeyed for months until reaching the U.S.-Mexico border in search of refuge, and were lied to by Florida officials, told if they boarded the planes, they'd be sent to Boston to receive jobs and housing.
What? So they were made like false promises or whatever.
Yeah. Chaz said, did you see the pamphlet about Massachusetts for refugee program they didn't have? What?
Wow.
See, this is the stuff that we're talking about, and everyone wants to talk about the queen this and the queen that. Fuck the queen.
There's a lot of things going on here like that we have to worry about for sure. Not saying her life didn't matter and she wasn't important, like let's be on, very clear, but
anyone's life matters, but like I said before, I posted on my personal page, I'm not going to send that to me, bro. I will not mourn the oppressors. I will mourn my neighbors and my loved ones.
Right.
Period. She oppressed people, and if you were watching at the beginning of the webisode, we played the clipping of people from across the Black diaspora who had their own opinions to say about the queen and this situation. Also, along with that, I did post a clip of an episode of Democracy Now!, a piece of Democracy Now! Where there is a Black British scholar whose family's lineage comes from Jamaica. He was his grandmother his paternal grandmother was a part of the Windrush generation. And are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not. I have no.
So the Windrush generation was Jamaica, Barbuda, Barbados, all of those countries, a lot of countries in the Caribbean that were slaves were brought to via the British Empire, became a part of the empire still. They, like the U.S. left, right? But there were still other countries that stayed. And they stayed up until present day. Jamaica, in all these countries, they may have became independent, so to speak, but they were still a part of the whole British crown, just like Canada and New Zealand and Australia still are today. Jamaica still is today. So they're like UK is considered the motherland. But the thing is, these Black people on this island aren't allowed to have, they still have to get a visa to go to the motherland country. So how much a part of, it's just like, here in the US, Puerto Ricans can come here, no problem. Do you know what I'm saying? That's not the case for these people. So anyway, when World War II happened and UK needed to rebuild, what did they do? Just like any old time when they needed slaves or workforce, they went to poor places, and so they welcomed these Jamaicans with open arms. But then as soon as they got to UK soil, they treated them like shit and racism ensued. This was rather recent in their history because this was like the 1950s and 60s, right? In the US, we've had Blacks and slaves here for since the country's history, So let me show this pamphlet real quick that Chad sent to us. Hold up. So they gave them this pamphlet, Chaz, and then what happened? Like they didn't actually go through. Like they talked the whole game on them. Is that what I'm understanding? because that fits the scenario here. It's crazy.
Yeah, that is insane. If they led these people to believe that there was going to be opportunities for them, in this area, and then come to find out it wasn't true.
All lies in the pamphlet. Oh, okay. So it's all lies. It's all lies. Exactly what they were saying on the thing that via Democracy Now. All the news articles that I was just reading came from Democracy Now. By the way, I will put the link in the comments per usual. Y'all know how I do. Shout out to Democracy Now and Amy Goodman for always providing that good news. I'm not gonna lie, that's a lot of the news that we get. World news comes from them. Excuse me, because they really do speak the good shit. I want more information on this. Like, who did this come from? I know that this, like, the front part, it says Massachusetts refugee benefits, but I wonder if this got you. The brochure, however, is for refugees referred by the United Nations and authorized to live in the U.S., not to those still seeking asylum. Huh. So the browner you are, the less likely you are to get any kind of help, so to speak. Not to mention, like, this is,
That's bullcrap for sure.
yeah. What we got here? All right, yes. DeSantis's migrant transports given brochure informing them of Massachusetts refugee benefits. Before being sent to Martha's Vineyard, migrants flown by the governor of Florida were reportedly handed brochures meant to inform them of Massachusetts refugee benefits, quote unquote. The popular information published in the brochure said to have been given to the migrants, and a communications director for the governor told Florida's Voice the brochure was legitimate and that the information provided was accurate. The brochure told migrants where they would be going, Massachusetts, and listed various benefits and services the state provides to lawful refugees. Resettlement agencies who resettle refugees under the Match Grant program provide cash assistance and in-kind support for refugees for an additional 90-day beyond the normal 30-day period for reception and placement assistance, one paragraph read. This is insane. A refugee cash assistance displayed on the brochure also came directly from the state website. Provides up to 8 months of cash assistance for income eligible refugees without dependent children who reside in Massachusetts. Also, apparently, housing assistance, furnishings, food and other basic necessities, clothing, transportation to job interviews and training, and things of the like. Apparently, the Florida House Democrat leaders held a press conference to discuss their request for the legislature to instruct Governor DeSantis to cease his inappropriate use of taxpayer money to apparently intercept, deceive, and transport asylum-seeking migrants. House Democrat leaders claim this use of state funds is not what was intended or described in law and say the migrants seeking asylum may be Venezuelan political refugees fleeing an oppressive regime, arguing they may not be unlawfully present in the United States.
That is absolutely insane.
But you know what? Like, DeSantis is fucking nuts. And I believe every single ounce of this. This does not surprise me. You saw the stunt that he pulled with Disney. Like, come on. He just doesn't stop. And I just can't wait for someone to stand up to his ass, because he's more than weird, bro. He's worse than Trump in that sense. Like, he's just stupid and he's trying to be like a Trump 2.0. I really think that he's trying to stick in there and get all the votes he can garner, and he's gonna turn Florida on its head.
That's horrible.
For real, yo.
That's why it's important that we come together across all lines of division and unite, because the world wants us to divide and work, be disorganizing factors. That's why it's important, above everything to, be united and stand in solidarity.
For real. Yeah, the Texas governor and the Florida governor, they, man, somebody do something with them people. All right, so a couple more headlines. I know y'all have heard of the situation going down in Puerto Rico. It's been plunged into darkness as Hurricane Fiona knocks out the power grid. I did share a clip, an episode that the former mayor of San Juan spoke with the reporter from Democracy Now!, Amy Goodman, about what's going on in Puerto Rico. Right. It really is. You sure? Because I was just going, that's all. Like, it's not, yeah. Okay. So most of Puerto Rico remains without power a day after Hurricane Fiona brought 100-mile-an-hour winds and up to 30 inches of rain to parts of the island. On Sunday, Puerto Rico's entire electrical grid collapsed as Fiona's eye roared across the island's southwestern coast, triggering flash floods and landslides and washing away at least one major bridge. Governor Pedro Pierluisi described the damage as catastrophic, and Fiona hit just 2 days before the 5th anniversary of Hurricane Maria, which killed thousands of people and devastated Puerto Rico's electrical grid and other infrastructure. And the thing is, if they didn't have the horrible electrical system that they got stuck with, they wouldn't have this issue right now. And I don't know if y'all are familiar with it. Look up Luna. Do you know anything about Luna?
No, I don't.
Oh my goodness.
Are you talking about you're not talking about the hurricane, right?
No.
Okay, yeah, no, I don't know anything about it.
It's their electrical system.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, let me see if I can find something on it. Puerto Rico, Luna Energy deal. Okay. All right. So a year ago, the government of Puerto Rico and Luma entered into a public-private partnership agreement to operate the Puerto Rico Electric Power Authority's transmission and distribution. I'm sorry, I had to eat a piece of candy because I don't have anything to drink next to me, and I've been talking a lot. So, yeah. To operate the Puerto Rico Electric Power Authority's transmission and distribution system and utility customer services. After a transition of 11 months, Luna took over these operations on June 1st. And they've had tons of issues and problems with keeping the grid on board online numerous times. And you can look it up. Like, search on Google Puerto Rico Luma deal. So much information will come up of blackouts. It's ridiculous. Here, I'll share the screen really quick so everyone can see. Yeah, just search Puerto Rico Luma deal and you get tons of articles about how faulty that grid is. And I mean, they got stuck with that. There's nothing that they can essentially really do right now about this. And the way that, look, it's a whole other topic that yeah. And it angers me. It really angers me. Definitely take a look at that Democracy Now! Episode that was done with the former mayor of San Juan. I cannot remember her last name for the life of me right now. Her first name is Carmen. I apologize. Alaska's strongest storm in half a century cuts off rural communities. 9 million ordered to evacuate as a typhoon hits Japan. Climate Week opens in New York as world leaders gather for UN General Assembly. The United Kingdom, of course, holds its state funeral for the Queen. And if you saw the episode, it's a YouTube video that I shared about how Africa feels they were treated compared to other countries and entities when provided with or lack of security during this funeral. I don't even know if they wanted to come. They were just trying to be nice. I doubt any of these leaders from Africa really wanted to go, to be quite honest, because this shit that they was talking, let me tell you. Awesome. Right. Yes. Arden, thank you, viewer, for that link. Please share it to me. I'm gonna find excuse me, Meg, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to find the link that was just posted to me because it looks like it's something juicy.
Yes, sir. You know, we love the tea. Some Southern sweet tea. It's a good day.
You already know. Yes. All right. So is the comment here? It is not here. Goodness gracious. Yeah. By the way, we do post to lots of different platforms. You can follow us on the Leon Black Independent Media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. You already know how we do. All right. Let me go ahead and click this. All right, here we go. Thank you, Arden, for that link. We're gonna go ahead and share.
La vida loca and live for the.
A lot of my friends who are down here as well for tax purposes, they bounce. They're back in their second homes. They're gone.
And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is my problem. This is a topic I've been very quiet about for a long time, but this video was the confirmation I needed to hear. Folks will come here to live in Puerto Rico, live la vida loca, and live for their wallet's best interest. In times like these, right now, during a hurricane, they leave. And then they wonder why a lot of people give them for it, because they are living here for their own benefit. And when times are not beneficial to them, they fly like a flock of pigeons. I live here. I love here because I am here. Everybody wants to live in Puerto Rico until it's time to live in Puerto Rico. For those who are living here with tax purposes and you took a quick flight back home, don't get mad when you hear go home. Stay home.
Yep. I could not say that any better myself, but spoken like a true Puerto Rican. Like, come on. And the same thing goes for Hawaii too.
Exactly. That's so crazy that they have to go through that. And especially, you know, in situations like that, you band together, you don't just run and hide. You know, like running and hide is not going to fix the problem.
It's the whole gentrification of the island for me, though.
Right.
That's my thing. It's the gentrification of the island for me. That's what pisses me off. That's what gets me so upset. And no one wants to talk about the bigger picture of that. No matter, like, everyone's kept in the dark. No one wants to really talk about it. The elephant in the room. It's the gentrification and whitewashing and gutting of Puerto Rico for the benefit of American and corporate interests across the country, across the world. If you ask me,
I agree 100%. We will not let them win. We will not be suppressed. We will always raise hell from the mountaintops. And we keep it moving. That's how we do.
Talk about it.
So any resources, we're always, you know, down to help anybody that we're able to.
Speaking of resources, we are looking for, if anyone is looking to, advertise their businesses on the Leon Black Independent Media. We are looking for sponsorship opportunities for anyone. We have different packages available for you. You can go to the Leon Black Independent Media Facebook page and check that out right here. Booyah. All right. So I want to get into the next story. Shout out to Dave Moon TV for always dropping the knowledge when it comes to Indigenous people, especially on the Western side and Canada. Just filling us in on stuff that we don't really get over here on the East Coast. So it's really appreciated.
Yes, for sure. Thank you, Dave Moon TV.
Not my king. Protester confronts British monarch over wealth inequality. Yes, the protester said, quote, Charles, while we struggle to heat our homes, we have to pay for your parade. The taxpayer pays 100 million euros for you. And what for? Not my king. Yeah.
Yeah, not my king either, but hey.
I know
Like,
that's right.
I don't
For
serve
real.
nobody but Jesus. If God did, what?
Yo, say that.
God did. Yes.
There is a episode that was done between Amy Goodman and Kehinde Andrews, which is the UK's first professor of Black Studies, author of the book The New Age of Empire: How Racism and Colonialism Still Rule the World. Definitely get that book or check out the podcast they did, because it really explains the story behind Black racism and what goes on in the UK versus comparing it to the US, and it's not that different at all. The way he explains it, though, like I was explaining to you, the Windrush generation and how they came to take how they were called to the UK to work after World War II to help rebuild the nation, but were treated like shit and then told to take pride in the queen that oppressed them to begin with. So it's a conundrum there, and it's just a sad story. And he talks about how his father was a part of the liberation generation that was pro-Black power, pro-Black movement, and how he, being the son of his father, became a professor. So it's a really detailed story that I think is worth checking out. It's like a 20-minute episode. Definitely check it out.
Constantly dropping the knowledge. I love it. Knowledge is power for everyone.
No doubt. All right, y'all, we will be right back. I gotta get a glass of water. So we'll be right back, y'all.
Hydrate and meditate.
Yeah, yes.
I am here to feed my soul. I walk alone to ensure the energy can flow. And in this life and path and journey, control. I am living, thriving, breathing chi. Living, thriving, being free. Living, thriving, feeling me. When I say I'm hungry, I got nothing to lose. I've been hungry, you was just confused. Now it's clear this bruised and used dude is on cue. Set up my own table, ready to cook some gourmet food. I know, I feel the new coming through. Just gotta sit tight, make moves, and trust my process makes me new. Optimism, positivity, bright lights, high frequencies, heavenly vibrations, and spiritual libations to bind the spirit and physical, and brighten up the lives of those who seem miserable.
All right, so looks like we've got another story here sent to us by one of our team members. Black woman harassed for coming into a white place via indisputable on TYT. Let's just go ahead and get right into it, because I'm just as curious as y'all are.
Here's the video. What are you talking about? And you're not talking to me. You are not talking to me. No, you're not. You are not talking to me. So come with it. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to box my food, and I'm going to finish my food, and then I'll leave. That's okay with me, baby. I got a lot of money in my account. I asked her to turn it down, and she got snappy with me, and she just threw a whole box at me. I come up here, and I play pool all the time. So all the time. She did just throw that box at me, sir. Period. I'm in a white place like this because I came up here to play pool. This is the only place with a pool table in the vicinity. So that's what I'm doing in a white place. That's what I'm doing in a white place.
Wow.
That's what I'm doing in a white place. That's
Racism at its finest.
Yep.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah. But guess what? Because I can come out and spend my money how I want to.
Trying to play pool while Black now.
Period. I took it there. I know you're racist. You look like a racist. But that's why you're poor. Most
Oh,
women
and it was a man.
Woo!
That makes-
Talk about it, sis.
and he's talking to a woman like that. Like, oh my goodness.
Pictures.
Right.
I got context. Let's put up the picture of the young lady who was a victim of their racism that day.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Gorgeous Hiram
And she's
Bar.
beautiful. God bless her. Like,
They're now getting
Right.
slammed after TikTok
she didn't
video
deserve that type of
viral
treatment.
yesterday, showing a group of white individuals harassing a black woman who visited just to play pool. In the video, the black woman can be heard confronting the individuals as they continue to tell her this is a bar for white people.
right. And it's a man. Like, that's so disrespectful.
Mariissa, who attends the bar strictly to play pool. And these are the racist individuals who decided there was a problem.
Wow. Two men and a
In
woman.
our research,
Classic.
we found that this bar,
Classic Joe and Karen for you,
Right.
everybody.
Yep.
the Bar Grill website, says, and I quote, "We're a friendly neighborhood that's been around since 2009. Drop by and join the fun and excitement. We will always welcome you at Hiram Station Bar and Grill."
Really though?
Well, Hiram Station Bar and Grill, we would like to know what your comment is regarding this situation. That would be really important. And the lady that was, in this situation.
Right.
Put in place, despite the fact that I heard nobody, not a manager,
Stand
not
up
a
for her.
worker,
Right.
not anybody stand up for this black woman while
Right.
the
That's
customers
despicable.
decided to harass them, to be
Wow.
racist against them. Now, let me say this. We're not going to do this.
This is America.
This black
Yep.
woman was
KKK.
Yep.
your obligation as a facility of management or management should have been to stop the aggressor from attacking
Exactly.
Yep.
being a black woman. Now,
Oh,
because you
God.
decided not to stand up and do the right thing and be professional and be appropriate and go after the individuals who are disrupting that woman's dinner, because you decided not to do that, we have decided to highlight this story and say,
I know that's right. Boycott this place. Don't you
For
go
real.
shut it down.
Don't
Shut
waste
it
your
down.
money. Yeah, on Harem Bar and Grill. They obviously don't give a flying fuck about their customers,
Nope.
or they would have protected this young woman while at their establishment. That's their
Correct.
job, and that's
Yep.
like their liability once she's in their establishment. So what the hell? Like,
Right.
I'd be suing all those
Yeah.
the establishment
Talk
and the
about it.
people that said something. Fuck that. That's bull
Talk
crap.
about it.
I'm
It
tired
is.
of people getting treated certain kinds of ways.
No,
Like,
it's important we expose this mess, or else like it won't be. We need to challenge it. We need to expose it for real.
right. Like, I'm gonna tag them in this video. Hold on a second.
Oh, please, yes, find them.
Yeah, you already know. That's disgusting that they can say that it's a friendly, establishment or whatever, but
Right.
then here
The
to come find out,
audacity.
yeah, they can't even comment like on this situation to anybody. Like, that's sad. At least say something, say sorry. Like,
Right.
that's not okay. That's not okay.
Yeah. Racism alive
say
and well.
to your establishment, drink some Get Better juice immediately. All right? But it could have ended a lot worse. She was not attacked, thankfully.
That's
She
true.
was able to survive, and she
It doesn't matter. She's still directly impacted now by a fucked up
black woman
person.
by herself.
That's
This
true.
had to be a scary situation. What are your thoughts here?
Hey, Nina
That's
Turner.
disgusting. Yeah, it's a friendly place as long as you're not black.
Right.
And somebody said also, Jontel, that it enablers abuse and harassment,
Nobody would have probably
that they're
believed.
selling drugs out of this place.
What?
Yeah, that's what I just was told.
So it's not a friendly establishment. It's more like a mafia spot.
Like a hot spot.
Right. Yeah.
The KKK
Yeah, like a
Unite.
hot spot. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got you.
Oh, so here's their information. I'm going to share this on my page. And if you want to, we're going to share it to our page's story. So check that out as well.
Bet. Good looks on that, Meg.
I got you.
Appreciate it. Let's finish up this video real quick.
That did happen to her. Those people are cowards all day long, all year long, all life long. And I thought I was looking at something from the 1960s, Doc, or
Yeah.
the 1950s. But look in the hell. This is the 21st century, and there's still places like this in the United States of America. So
Wake
just a
up, people.
reminder, just a friendly reminder that anti-blackness and racism is alive and well. And one of the men just flat out admitted it. Yeah, I'm racist.
Yep.
But I'm glad she set them straight about, yeah, most white supremacists are poor. So
Yep.
white privilege and white supremacy, I will say again, is a hell of a damn drug.
Very well said. All right.
Exactly.
Talk about it.
100%.
I don't know what that is, but you don't need to see all that. Shout out to our team for sending us that video. It's been a while. Welcome back. So yeah, what do y'all think about that? Like, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, we have a story coming up really soon about someone in rural Pennsylvania who was harassed, who was shot at, and the whole town essentially is conspiring to just harass this person and make their life a living hell as best as possible. But this person is persevering. We will be interviewing them at some point, so definitely stay tuned for that. This story kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah, it's so sad. Like this is so horrible.
Yeah. I know you had some stuff that you wanted to get into, but we can definitely save it for another time. But just give me a precursor, if you will. What was it about?
Yes. So our next discussion, we'll be logging on a little bit later. I have a autistic son, and he's like being very vocal right now. So I'm not sure I could talk long enough that you guys would clearly like have an understanding of what I'm talking about.
Right.
But if you want to tune in here in a little bit, we're going to be going over Mohammed Esteban's autopsy that just shows clearly police brutality and corruption, and you know what they did to his body after he was dead, and how he was shot, and how the bullets went into his back, and how he was shot 15 times, and where he was shot. And it gives you more details and more clarity on how Akron Police Department is really treating their citizens whenever they're supposed to be protecting and serving. They are killing them and leaving them in cold blood, like shooting them in downward positions. And once they're already on the ground, the first shot with Muhammad was a kill shot. It went directly into his chest cavity. It would have killed him. There was no reason or causation for justification for 14 additional shots after that initial shot. So we're going to dig in a little bit deeper. I'm going to show the autopsy. We're going to go over it. And that'll be coming up here in a little bit.
Yes. We have so many different stories that we have been inundated with, which does speak to our growth as a independent media source. So we couldn't thank you enough. We can't thank all of our viewers enough for being there, encouraging, sending us stuff, and trusting us with sharing the truth and the knowledge with all of you. We literally have been inundated with work as of the past month or so with impacted families of stolen lives, cases of just mental health issues and the like. And Meg, our investigative reporter, has been doing lots of hard work deciphering through everything from right to know requests to autopsy reports to body cam footage, and the greater coalition of us at Free Agents for Justice has been doing the same with other cases that we really are eager to get out to the greater world. But that will come in time. Just know that there is a lot of different stories that we are working on to bring to you that the greater world really needs to know about, whether it be us here in Pennsylvania or stories that are taking place in Ohio specifically. There are a lot of important things that you need to know about.
100%. We have to be armed with knowledge, and knowledge is power. America needs to wake up, and the storm is coming. Ohio, it's coming very soon. So stay tuned for that. And then also tomorrow night, we're going to be having a chat with JP Fox and Jean Bickmeyer, the president of Have a Heart Advocacy Group, speaking about the white paper that they proposed to the police commissioner, or to the city county commissioners, for the new jail redevelopment. So we have that to come as well. So we're really excited about things to come.
Yeah, we've got a loaded week actually with lots of stuff coming. Like I can't stress enough how excited I am for all this. Meg, go handle your stuff. We will hop off of here. We will see y'all momentarily. Just check out some ads and some stuff as we wrap it on up. Make sure you meditate on your path, celebrate your being, liberate your spirit, and educate yourself. I'm your guy Jontel,
and I'm your girl Meg.
Have a good one, y'all.
See ya.
America has looted black people. America looted the Native Americans when.
Prayed, and I'm like, God, no matter what it is, give me.
They don't want us to succeed.
Black Lives Matter all day, every day.
All day, every day.